Oops. Welcome to your monthly Fire Tribe report, y'all. This is the Peace Dealer. Moon is in Gemini right now. And yeah, we're going to break down the Cancer season for Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. You heard? What's up, y'all? Oh, I could do that. Yeah, we're here once again in the new wave. Oh, wow. I don't know if I did that. Oh, I don't think I did. Oh, no, I did. Oh, oops. Let's do that after. Okay. Quick schedule change real quick. We have a new moon ceremony tomorrow. So I just had to switch that right quick. All right, cool. All right, y'all. So as you can see, shout out to you guys in the chat. Shout out to y'all watching live on Instagram. Welcome. Yeah. So we're gonna start with Aries, of course. I will of course have the monthly peace report and all the tribe reports public for this week, and then after this week I will enlist them. So if you would like to catch the replay, just feel free to join Supernatural, link in the description below. This is really where we're transitioning. This tribe report is actually an Infinity Club perk exclusive. So we're transitioning that to the app. You'll be able to access this on any tier. All right. So with that being said, it's going to be part of the Mystical Illuminations. Shout out to Devin. Once again, the link to the app is below for anyone who wants to just catch the replay towards member specific videos moving forward. Yeah, I hope you enjoy that. Once again, I'm still working on the Astro 101 series. I have 101, 102, 103, and 104 is pretty much done. I'm just doing the finishing touches, and then I'll get to work on 105 in July. So yeah, I got a new video essay series coming out. I finished episode 1. Mercury through the Signs has been done 2 years ago. Chad the Maverick is currently editing Venus, Saturn, Jupiter, and of course Mars. So I have Venus out. I'm probably going to drop the Mercury videos once a week, and then we'll go from there. And I mean, given that July is next week, we'll probably just start July, or I'll be dropping the Mercury videos every Wednesday. Anyway, guys, Aries, we're going to start with you. Aries, Sun, Moon, Rising, progressed. Yeah, even if you have any other points in Aries, albeit this is going to be more accurate to Aries rising, natal, or progressed Aries rising, natal Aries sun, progressed Aries sun. Aries moon, you might feel certain aspects. However, we're going to base these transits more off the rising and sun. When I talk about the angles, you could apply it to any planets you have in Aries too. Okay, for example, and congratulations, welcome revolutions. Saturn and Neptune are transiting your rising, or they're preparing to make a 0-degree conjunction to any of your Aries placements. Okay. which is really going to get ready to, through you, initiate this new cycle of world order. Okay. And not only that, it puts you in a position to realistically and powerfully, with Neptune, reimagine yourself. All right. Um, I think, I don't know if Astrolata still has that video. It's years old if it's still there, but she does have a video about Saturn transiting the first. I think KRS Astrology has one too. I highly recommend watching those. It's a good idea, or good knowledge or wisdom into what it's like to have Saturn going through your rising, and to a degree your sun, literally to the degree. Saturn through the rising is like starting a new business. And now Saturn, which represents, in a sense, constrictions, limitations, Saturn is truly liberation. So this is like putting on a weight jacket, and over the 2.5 years it goes through your sign, you're realistically, you know, burdened by extra responsibility. You're embodying this responsibility. Kind of like, once again, going all in with my girl M in astrological business. And, you know, I think the Neptunian aspect is that total surrender, which is a huge theme, unconditional surrender, right? Surrender is Neptune, Saturn is totality. So there is, in a sense, right, total surrender when it comes to you. You're surrendering to yourself, your will, your desire, and what you are determined to do and accomplish as it carves out the definition of your character. All right. Of course, after this leaves your rising or sign, after 2.5 years of this pressure and responsibility, you take the weight jacket off. You're much lighter. You're so much more powerful. You're much stronger. But now with Neptune here, there is a dissolvement and transcendence of self that is very unconscious. It's expressed through this, transpersonal realm of imagination. And I think Saturn will really kind of structure more what you experience through this. All right. Shout out to y'all in the chart once again. And we still standing on it. I love that. And, I think it puts you in a very powerful position to realistically now embody this new cycle that is being activated. Of course, Chiron is still going to be in your first. So you're also still embodying this self-healing. And what's interesting, the Saturn Aries transit, I want to akin to self-respect. If Saturn is authority and, in a sense, respect through accomplishments, and Aries is the self, right? This is, with Neptune, a transcendent self-respect that is going to test everybody on, how well how much you allow other people to disrespect you or respect you, right? And coming to Aries, right, you are embodying this. There's a tendency with Saturn and Aries to be thoroughly impatient. I don't think it has to apply to everybody, but I always just get that idea that you're putting a disciplined function, as planets are functions, shout out to Kai Aries, in a very impatient, instant Aryan sign and signature, or Aries, right? So this is just really meant to trip you up by constructing your steps, but giving you much more of a serious approach towards this expression of self. And that's where, Chiron is going to continue to uncover any vulnerabilities through your ego, for better or for worse, any way in which the self-healing you apply reflects towards other people. And that's now what brings us to Jupiter and the sun conjuncting in your fourth house. Predictably now, for over 10 years, I would say 9 times out of 10, whenever I give people readings and Jupiter's transiting through their fourth, and this has happened over like 10, 15 times, They're always moving. Even if Jupiter is making that 90-degree angle to their sun, they're preparing to move. They had just moved. They're currently moving, or shortly after they get the idea to move. All right. I like to think Jupiter sponsors the move, or they're renovating their inner home, or they're renovating their home space. They're adding stuff to it. They're building it up. It's beautiful for real estate, right? But Jupiter in the fourth is now integrating everything that it activated April of 2023, where if you remember, April of 2023 was where we did have the Sun conjunction with Jupiter in Aries. Yep. At the end of Aries, actually, at 2021 degrees. Okay. This is when we really kicked off this brand new evolution cycle, right? And it set off where now we're finally what we activated with Jupiter and Aries, and then it went through your second house to expand your wealth, finances, self-esteem, value, and then it went through Gemini to vocalize what you're worth, right? And to set your mindset and attitude. Now in Cancer, it's finally beginning to integrate. And that's where, of course, square Saturn is forming an opening square. An opening square is a 90-degree angle from the faster moving planet to the slower moving planet. An opening square takes this fire and passion of Aries and it clashes with water. If you played Pokemon, rock, paper, scissors, or I mean, any kind of system turn-based mechanic, you know that fire is weak to water. You know that water is super effective to fire. All right. So this instinctual, I don't even want to say passion, this instinctual, authentic action is challenging itself with a more sincere, deeper understanding, where there's certain facets of this process you don't want to rush. Saturn, you want to see as the construction, but you can see Jupiter as a wrecking ball. So it is actively blowing deeper space, not loads. It is blowing deeper space deep within you so that, you know, it's creating more basement floors that you'll be able to tap into and then fill with water, your own emotion. You can see this is going deeper into now not only break through the ground, what the conjunction in Aquarius in your 11th house did, right? But will also provide in a structured way, square Neptune and Saturn, deeper understanding of how you are going to tie together this process of evolution. Because eventually in 3 years, Jupiter will be in Libra in your 7th, and you'll be harvesting what you started April 2023. Okay. Okay. So the new moon that we have in Cancer is going to activate, in a sense, this brand new evolution cycle of now taking the activation of your personality, value, and ideas and getting ready to fill it in with color through Cancer and Leo. Add so much more depth and to really beef up this private sense of yourself, who you are comfortable with in your personal private space. And a process such as this actually requires you to completely come out your comfort zone. So the process of expanding your comfort zone, it's going to push you out your comfort zone. You're going to be extremely uncomfortable, especially with Pluto that is now making this 3 degrees. Jupiter is making a 3-degree opening quincunx, a 150-degree angle to this. Now, if you remember, Jupiter conjuncted Pluto in your 10th house, all right, in Capricorn 2020. Like around March 2020, then it met with Saturn in Aquarius in your 11th. So the karmic expansion cycle, Jupiter Saturn cycle, really now sowed the seeds of an extraordinary element of community support and a place of belongings and the supernatural friends or the weird friends or the weird dynamics around your subscription to communities that activated, of course, this relevant cycle. And Jupiter on Pluto in your 10th really exploded, I would say, this expansion of breaking through the glass ceiling. 2020 up until now represents the activation of the direction you take in your career that has not only broken or prepared to break it through, but now that it is integrating, is now really tying together how your social circle of friends are awakening, and now how you're integrating that private space to tie together eventually when it, you have eighth house transits, who you can trust in these spaces. And as of now, of course, what to facilitate. In fact, we do see a yod right now, Mars in Virgo, that is at the closing quincunx end of Pluto in Aquarius, but also opening the quincunx to Saturn and Neptune. So we have two yods. We have a yod with Pluto here with Jupiter and Mars. Then we have a yod here with Mars from Pluto to Saturn and Neptune. So, of course, Mars in your sixth house during this season is actively integrating in your, of course, sixth house of lifestyle, the routine strategy of how you are going to take action based on what you're actively analyzing. And that's where this greater restriction or integrity that this responsibility you're embodying is having you really watch more of your steps and adding more gravity to how you tie all this together. Of course, after Mars goes over the South Node, the integration of these actions will break through in Libra, and it's going to present how you demonstrate what you've activated through Gemini and have integrated through Virgo. Of course, you want to see Virgo as the practice point. So this is going to revisit, very unique habits. This is going to really form ahead of time, because once we get to Virgo season during the eclipse, you're going to be critically aware of how you're going to set your day to day. It's not something you have to wait until September to do, but it's going to be a major area of focus. So Mars ahead of time is having you strategize and take action and already kind of do what you will be aware of by then. And something like that is, of course, realistically being lost in repetition to perfect a skill, a technique, rather. Third house is skills. Sixth house is the connection and combination of skills through a technique. And that once it goes into Libra, you'll present flawlessly. My thoughts on Mars on the South Node. I like to think of the South Node as an unlocking portal. So there's a real magical or analytical sense of power that is going to unlock. I think it's something to be sensitive towards because of war, and Mars definitely rules war. So yeah, I mean, this could actually, I'm not going to say which way it turns. I know some people feel like things are going to escalate. I like to leave that variable instead of just not that, that's not the case, but since Virgo is mutable, right, and could go either way, we could see massive de-escalation or massive escalation. Either way, the South Node conjunction is going to prepare for the North Node conjunction that I think Mars will have in Aquarius. I don't know if it's going to retrograde this year or next year, but I know that for Aries, right, this in your sixth house is going to unlock how specifically you are getting ready to once again integrate everything. And the focus here is on the actions you're taking to really discipline your lifestyle and take an assertive approach towards getting everything together. And the yod that it's making with Saturn and Pluto really now take into account your personal expression and who influences you, who in your social circle influences you, and the extreme nature of how you're awakening them and how they're extremely influencing you. All right. That yod is an extreme pressure cooker right here. So it is the intensity of the strength and the potency of this direction will influence the angle and the perspective of how it is you break through with this. And then, of course, Pluto is going to be this fixed intensity that will intensify how deeply you expand this personal space. And of course, how this deeper foundation creates more room for you to express through your lifestyle. All right. If you think, right, if your lifestyle in a studio apartment is going to be somewhat different than your lifestyle in a 3-story mansion where you have more room for activities. That being said, I think with the square here, it's really going to challenge you moving forward as we push forward this integration of how well you can maintain who you are while still deepening empathic connection with others and preparing that bridge to Libra that's going to reveal, I think, untapped and unlocked potential within you that may have been suppressed, that Jupiter will bring up all up in your face. And then the full moon in Capricorn is going to have you understand what you can utilize and understand around your career goals. I think I said understand twice. And how that more collective, public, universal reputation and understanding of what you want to accomplish really revisits back into what you're aware of in your foundation, how your private world must be in order to be that proper foundation to feel like you're making the right strides in your goals and in your career. But yeah, once again, I just want to emphasize that square obviously is really the most important. And as Venus will exit Taurus with Uranus, that conjunction at 29 degrees is going to activate the final mastery of innovation in this house of wealth, which is a fancy way of saying unexpected windfalls of income, I think, will not only be planted there, but it's going to innovate how much more you can polish what you're worth and what services and products you give out. And I think experience more results relative to the process of automating the selling of said products or services, or the unconventional increasing of value of such. By the way, guys, do you remember when yesterday I bought I wanted to buy back that XRP? I accidentally deposited $4,000 into there instead, because I was looking at my account. I was like, where did this extra 4,000 come from? And I look at my bank account and I'm like negative like 2,000 or 4,000. So it's a pending charge. It's probably gonna get reversed, but that shit almost I was like, how did this happen? Oh my God. But I don't think the charge is gonna go through. That just really threw me the hell off. I was just like, what the hell is this? I was able to buy my XRP again, but I don't know how I made such a stupid mistake like that. Shout out to Jeremiah. All right. Anyway, next we're going to go into Leo. Leo, especially if you are a Leo rising, I would like for you to pay attention. Leo rising, Leo progressed rising, Leo sun, progressed Leo sun. When it comes to the 12th house, one thing that I've studied and experienced personally and have counseled during readings with literally like a lot of people, Jupiter or any transit through the 12th house is a transit of release. Okay. The 12th house is that shadow in the balsamic before we plant new seeds. We're clearing the field. Jupiter, given its yearly transit, right, through a sign, is going to be in your 12th house. In fact, this new moon we're going to have is activating this 12th house. And if you treat it as the conclusion of an evolution cycle you began 2014, 2015, that's crazy. Okay, 2014 and 2015. 2015 and 2016 is Virgo, and 2016 and 27. All I know is that Leo is 27, Libra is 2017, Scorpio is 2018, Virgo is 2016. So I guess Leo was 2015. Well, I'm pretty sure it was. Either way, if you go back to the last time Jupiter was in Leo, right? You're concluding that. You're concluding that. Then you guys are getting set up for a bad ass Jupiter cycle next year. You guys are going to have Jupiter and the South Node on your rising, 0 degrees on your sun, 0 to 30 degrees on your sun, moon. All right. So it's important to know that you're getting debuted. This is a brand new integration of a new society, because we're coming into a new world order. So every transit post Saturn Aries that goes through Leo to Scorpio is the integration of a brand new society by a new generation born after 95 coming into their Saturn return. 96, 97 coming into their Saturn return, 98, 99 coming into their Saturn Taurus return. So these are the beings turning 30. You have Gen Alpha, who's coming into their 20s, Gen Beta, who is just being born. And they're a lot of what the Gen Xers and millennials will be doing during this period is integrating a new society. And the debut of that comes with you Leos. Okay, Cancer is pushing in the new wave to lead to this new stage. And I really do believe the 2026 transits are going to really hype things up. 2026 is where we really start. You know what I'm saying? The new world. We're going to have GTA 6, World Cup, apparently LeBron's last season, amongst other things. There's a lot that's going to really kick off this new era. The Sun conjunction to Saturn and Neptune in Aries. The Sun conjunction to Uranus in Gemini. So you want to understand now, by knowing that, take the whole year off, guys. This is very unorthodox advice. I'm not supposed to tell you this, right? Because that's not really productive, but take the goddamn year off, okay? And put yourself in this position, all right? Fun fact, she be talking to herself in my DMs here, complete conversations just to herself, spamming emails. Does anyone else get harassed or messaged by this person? Very interesting. But yeah, other than that, a Leo rising Leo said my life sound like an anime, which is crazy because Leo's life is a movie. You feel me? And it puts you in a position to prepare for this debut. So if you're a Leo, you're debuting next year. Okay. And as you debut next year, this year is going to release the previous 12-year cycle. And the reason why I have to say that is because when transits go through the 12th, predictably, and a lot of people tell me this, that they go through this, it feels like everything is falling apart. It feels like everything you've worked towards isn't working anymore. And that's because you are ending a 12-year cycle. Okay. That's what causes this period to be surrender, because you don't know how you're going to activate the next cycle, what direction you're going to go to. It's a brand new book. That's why I like to use the analogy of a 12 chapter book for Jupiter. Okay. Where every year you step into a new chapter, right? Next year, you're opening up a brand new book that's 12 chapters. Jupiter going through your first is going to be chapter 1, right? So you are currently activating chapter 12, the final chapter of the book you started like 12 years ago. And once you start to see it like this, you have a lot more grace on yourself and not get discouraged because of what you actually want to get excited, because that's what's supposed to feel like. So yeah, it was 2015. It was 20. It was the middle of 2014 coming into 2015. Okay. Okay. So you feel me? The reason why that's very significant is you could feel lethargic. Do we adjust for Placidus? Oh, very great question. So I just use equal signs. You can adjust for Placidus, but Placidus still is going to fall within the realm of whole and equal. And that's what's hard for people to understand, because sometimes we just take things too literally. So you can blend both. Cancer starts in your 11th, but if you are a Leo rising, Cancer is your 12th house, regardless. Even if you have duplications, even this is a really good question. Even if you have interceptions, psychologically, Cancer is going to be your 12th. So you can look at that 11th house placement blended in the 12th. Just something to keep in mind. And yeah, I would say adjust the Placidus to equal signs or two whole signs. Very good question. Where you're still going to experience 11th house themes, but they're bleeding into the 12th. So it's 11th house themes you're transcending and having the release before it goes into the 12th. That being said, once again, why this is very important is because realistically, what you experience through this, right, is now the surrender to not knowing what comes next. So this happened to me again as a Taurus rising when Jupiter was in Aries, and as a progressed Cancer rising while Jupiter was going through my natal first in Gemini. Now that it's on my progressed rising, I feel like I'm ready to go. Okay. But the reason why I was excited this time, because I experienced the same thing I experienced 12 years ago when Jupiter was last in my 12th. And it was very depressing the last time, because unlike this time where I've been around the block and I knew what to expect, and still I had to have a good amount of faith, because, you know, the 12th house taps you out. It's the end of those resources because you're getting ready to start anew, right? The first time, right, was right before I became the peace dealer. What the 12th house does is it dissolves old beliefs, because now you are being prepared to embody a brand new part of yourself. It's an evolution of yourself. So the last time Jupiter went through my 12th was 2011. And at the time, I, of course, was training myself to be a Christian apologist, right? I didn't know anything about astrology. And I needed that 12th house Jupiter to release that outdated sense of beliefs. That's what opened me up, so that by the time Jupiter went through my first house, I was the peace dealer. Like when Jupiter was 29 degrees Gemini, that's when I realized I'm the motherfucking peace dealer. I'm an astrologer. Holy shit. Right? That was when I was activating that new cycle. Of course, beforehand in the 12th, I was running around from get rich quick scheme to get rich quick scheme, trying to work and make money online, learning. And these get rich quick schemes were, of course, like online marketing, like learning how to sell products, doing affiliate marketing. Ironically, some of which ended up actually, the stuff I learned back then that I didn't think would be in handy ended up coming in handy later. But of course, you know, I was a bit down. I didn't know what I wanted. I didn't know what I was going to do. I didn't know what I could make work. And I needed that period, because really all I had to do was surrender throughout that period. Even though it didn't feel like it, everything that had to happen, everyone who I had to meet led me to eventually, you know, going to Soul Garden, learning about my chart, doing astrology, right? And that's why now that it's come back around again, now that I've finished this cycle, 12 years of being the peace dealer, right? 7-year run from 2017 to like 2024 of really kind of harvesting and completing this work, I'm ready to shift gears, right? Now this new cycle, I have an application. Whereas last I had an online shop, now I have an app now, and I'm beginning to expand more. And even in this cycle, a lot of the resources I had dried up, and it looks like what was successful doing this before, especially with the pandemic, that everyone took a hit, or most people took a hit in sales and whatnot. The reason why I wasn't tripping is because, oh, nice, this is that 12th house. Like, I know now that it's through my first, things, even when it went through my natal first, new things started to pop up for me that now it's through my progress first we can move forward with. So if you're a Leo rising, this is doubly more important, because Cancer, I had a 12th house like Taurus. I had a lot of my 12th house in Taurus, because I'm a late Taurus rising in Aries. I have Jupiter exalted in Cancer, yes. So shout out to y'all having your Jupiter return. It's going to be a lot of liquidity. Okay. But that being said, having the 12th house Cancer, I think, is a much deeper. It's so much more irrational. It makes you supernaturally psychic, but only if you believe in yourself and don't overthink things and don't fall into trying to figure out too much. Okay. I think what's also very important is, the need to be in acceptance for that which you can't change and is out of your control. All right. So that's not a warning, it's just encouragement. The 12th house will bring a lot of shadow work, and it's going to reveal hidden enemies, because you're getting ready to step into a brand new cycle. Okay. And this is yeah, of course I'm gonna like comments, I'm gonna be courteous, but you are a fucking spammer, Faye. You spam emails, you spam comments. I know I'm not the only one you probably do this to, but you're a little cuckoo, I'm gonna be completely honest, and I just don't say anything. But yeah, you stay telling me surrender. Yes, surrender is your superpower. You feel me? And there's going to be that proclivity and tendency to realistically, you know what I'm saying, want to try and push things forward, want to try and force things to happen, where do what you can, but understand you're being prepared for a huge debut. So for those of you going through this period, okay, for those of you going through this period, this is going to, of course, not only prepare you, but hopefully you don't get too discouraged. I don't know what you were thinking in your head for 6 years. I'm not going to distract myself anymore, Faye. But yeah, please stop writing paragraphs and talking to yourself in the DMs. And yeah, you feel me? You can still chill around here. Just relax. Stop being weird. Other than that, you know what I mean? This 12th house Cancer transit is also going to bring up unresolved emotions. It's going to revisit the 6th house Capricorn transit, the 9th house Aries transit, and that's what brings us to the square from your 9th house to your 12th house. Saturn and Neptune in the 9th in Aries, that is transcending this total realization of who you see yourself as. That's what I think is cool about Leo. Leo is 9th house Aries, and of course, as a 9th house Aries, you are seeing the meaning of your identity. You show the meaning of your identity. I can't believe you're a Virgo and you spelled liar wrong. That is crazy. But then again, I think you got the net. I don't know. Bye-bye. That being said, okay, who spells liar? Like, that's crazy. What a cuckoo individual. Anyway, other than that, yeah, I don't take offense. She be, I don't think I'm the only, I don't think she at one point told somebody, yes, she told my friend who had a miscarriage that she was meant to do it. She says she's Jesus. That lady there says she's Jesus and shit like that. She's weird as fuck. I just been ignoring her forever. But yeah, and then she be sending me weird ass emails. Just spamming shit. And it's so fucking weird. Anyway, other than that, yeah. The square to the ninth house is going to, challenge how you're not only constructing and transcending your way of life and really your philosophy. It's strengthening and empowering and adding discipline to your philosophical approach, but mainly how you teach others, how you lead by example and show who you are. This is what gives you a lot of main character appeal, because your philosophical approach is based on authenticity and originality. But that square to Jupiter expanding, this more nebulous, unconscious space could really challenge you to not necessarily deviate from the integrity you will, of course, eventually bridge into Taurus, because now we already talked about how Jupiter is preparing you for your rising or your sun, right? The debut on stage. But in 2 years, Saturn is going to be in Taurus, and it's going to create more of an authoritative quality and an authority figure, that you will become an authority figure, as Saturn will now strengthen the integrity of your legacy. Okay. So normally the 12th house transit is one of release, but now that ninth house square that is building this tension is integrating how much deeper you're going to gain hidden insight throughout the 11 years you've evolved that you will use to go on stage next year. And even though that's a lot of jargon I probably just said, what I kind of want to revisit is, no matter how difficult, because it doesn't have to be difficult. This could be one of the best years of your life, right? Some of you could be Cancer rising. So this could be coinciding with a first house transit behind your Leo sun, but you don't want to be perturbed. Basically, anything that falls away out of your life from now until July of next year was not meant to be in your life. Okay. It's not meant to go with you into this new cycle. Okay. You imagine if next year you become super mega famous, which Leo, that is not far off to say for a lot of you. All right. Even though if you're already famous too, right? Because the South Node, Jupiter in your sign, it's going to be focusing on Pluto and the North Node in your seventh. I think that's one of the hottest aspects anyone's going through, that we're all going through, but you embody. Okay. So you want to think of it, the 12th house of hidden enemies doesn't mean that you have to look over your shoulder, because Jupiter going to the 12th will protect you. It's like a guardian angel. But imagine if you have a hater in your corner that's wanting to take advantage of you. And would you want that type of person there when you blow up next year, when you start this new cycle? So this is going to weed out the people who are not meant to make it there. And you have to surrender before you know. And that's why I use that example. I didn't know I was going to become the peace dealer. I didn't know that I was going to begin something that changed my life and others' lives, and was very much so a journey, and still is. I didn't know. I had no idea. And if I can go back in time, I would tell myself, just let it go, bro. Which I was told back then. And I hated fucking hearing that. I was like, I don't want to let go of what? Like, it was just the most frustrating thing to hear. But, literally just go with the flow like a dead fish. All right. Allowance, acceptance, right? I didn't know that at the time. The stuff I was frustrated with actively led me into what I was meant to do. And this is where the power of surrender works in your favor. If it was easy, everyone would do it. Since you are a super strength, right? You are a super Leo. That's why I'm saying it's not the same as me going through this. I went through this as a Taurus rising. You are the next stage of integration. So the higher the zodiac sign, the higher the difficulty. And this, of course, with Pluto in Aquarius opposite you, has you experiencing this pressure from other people directly. We're going to see Mercury enter your sign. Okay. What did I let go? What I let go during that period were outdated beliefs. Because remember, the third house is your attitude, the sixth house is your behavior, the ninth house is your philosophy, and the 12th house are your beliefs, the reasoning that combines all of those and exposes unconscious habits, unconscious beliefs. I let go of hidden enemies who were not really in my corner or actively held me back. And I let go of my old, outdated, dogmatic Christian beliefs that if I had, I would have looked at this as devil worship, right? I was taught that, oh, this is of the devil, right? I had to let that go so that I can do this. That's what opened up the space for me to join Soul Garden, to start watching, you know what I'm saying, Judy Garland, to start watching Astrolata. I never watched videos like that before, but everything, of course, played its purpose. And that's what led to me being able to serve you all. Okay. So really keep that in mind. The whole purpose of surrender is you don't know what's going to happen next, even if you have an idea, but this is you. You're guiding yourself. Okay. So really keep that in mind. And I'm glad you said that, soul searching security, because Cancer is associated with family. I think this is going to release a lot of beliefs around who you consider family. And once again, Pluto is in your seventh, or it's opposite your Leo sun or moon. Okay. So that's also going to add a lot more pressure relative to how it is you maneuver and navigate through these times. Now, Mars, that's going to be in your second house, is going to, and this is the coolest thing for Aquarius and Leo this year. You're unlocking a powerful wealth. Okay. Mars with the South Node is going to unlock your social value. Unlike Aquarius, that's going to finesse investments from the society around them, where the South Node in their eighth house is getting other people to trust them to invest in what they're producing. Leo, you're bankrolling this. You're the investor. So like the South Node in your second is you're using your social value in order to, of course, invest into the beliefs of others. So the Virgo to Pisces pipeline, as you can see, is what will unlock the analysis of how you manifest this value towards, by March, of course, with the North Nodal eclipse in 2026. Be aware of who you've invested it towards throughout that entire 6-month period and arc. Okay. So Mars, that was in your sign, having you flare up for what you want to stand on and pioneer and really just kind of not back down on, you are now constructively and practically analyzing how you manifest the value of said courage in an unorthodox way. Because you would think, okay, Jupiter going through the second for you, it's going to expand a lot of money, right? Venus, we want to see through the second. I think it's because of your fiery nature. Mars is going to get you paid. And I think it's because of the nature of your character. I think you stand to gain more money through this Mars transit, more than what Venus will do. Venus will just polish and clean it up. This is going to be based on your assertion. So you're going to be pointing your desire towards how to monetize your social value, how to manifest, what strategic action towards that South Node will actively unlock this and really create situations that are meant to happen to facilitate being at the right place at the right time, amongst other things. Okay. And Venus and Uranus will be conjuncting at the tail end of your 10th house, which is going to polish and innovate the legacy and career goals you will look into achieving. Okay, this is a very powerful conjunction, a very strong conjunction. And this represents the conclusion of, you know what I mean, 2018 to 2024, where you personally have been innovating your career goals and your legacy, the natural quality of how well you can automate this income you gain. Leo, remember you're the main character. So you, like other fixed signs, I mean, everyone gets hate, but you're going to get a disproportionate amount of hate because it's easy to hate on you. I will say it's very easy to Leo is always in the spotlight, so people get jealous and envy of that. But of course, you know, the Pluto opposition is going to show you more irrationality around how you trigger the fuck out of people. So whether you're a Leo or not, I want you to I want you to listen to this, and then I'll tell you to comment something if it relates. You have people who go out of their way to express how much they don't like you. They call you crazy names, right? And it's in response to you expressing yourself. There's just that instant hatred, right? But it's irrational because if someone didn't like you, they wouldn't want anything to do with you, right? You somehow have people, and that's why you're the performer. You somehow have your haters tuning into you every day. Like, and I want you to comment a one, regardless of sign, if you experience this, because it's not just the zodiac sign that experiences this, but like, how does someone hate you? But every day they have to tune in to tell you they don't like you. Every day they have to be triggered by everything you say. And they have to irrationally be angry, like Leo rising Trump. People have Trump derangement syndrome mainly because of this Leo rising, right? These people are unconscious to the fact that they're absolutely obsessed with you, right? Like imagine someone saying, "Oh, I don't even need you. Oh, you're not even that important." If you're not that important, why are they being monitoring spirits towards you? Why do they keep coming back for more? If you weren't shit, then why do they talk about you all the time? Like these people cannot go a single day without having your dick in their mouth. They're just gobbling it every single day about how they don't like you, about how you're horrible. It's like you have permanent residence in their mind. And this is the irrational triggering you just being authentically yourself expose in other people. Trust me, they are obsessed. And once again, I love what you said here because people are projecting on you an image that's not even you. It's just an idea of you that they're dead set on believing and then trying to fit you with that image. So as Pluto continues to oppose your sun, even though this is affecting everybody, right? I wanted to really show how with you, Leo, it's much more direct. We're going to have Mercury in your sign opposite Pluto in the seventh. And as we integrate this Cancer cycle, it's going to really have you directly talk shit back. And you're going to be triggering a lot more people, especially in the way with which, Leo, we know you don't back down. So you're the type of person to just take it more spicy. You're the type of person to be like, "Oh, you hate me, huh? Hate this, bitch. Yeah, you know what I'm saying?" And you'll put on a show for people. So we see this opposition is definitely going to heat things up, for better or for worse. But if you're going to give them a reason to be jealous, Venus on Uranus is going to represent milestone accomplishments that finally break through and complete a lot of what you have built brick by brick. Okay. And you know, a lot of what you may have to show for it may not entirely be visible. And people can try and get at you for that. but they don't really understand the revolutionary value that you have paved the way for. And you do have a lot to show for it too. I'm not saying you don't, but just something to keep that in mind. Why are you talking more Leo than Aries? That's a good question. I'm actually ready to go on to Sag. I just realized that too. Like, holy shit. Oh, it's because I had to give a story about the 12th house just to kind of understand that. So Venus is going to conjunct Uranus on the 3rd of July. And then they're both going to go into Gemini together. So unlike Aries, who, of course, you know what I mean, Uranus through their 3rd house is going to automate and innovate how much more telepathic and genius they are, just acting off on genius thoughts, saying the most controversial things, and they already say controversial shit, which is going to be so much fun. Leo, this is going to completely overhaul your social circle of friends. You're going to start attracting geniuses towards you, maybe a few crazies, diabolically crazy people, but this is going to now automate everything Jupiter expanded relative to who's in your support, who's in your corner. Technology that aids greater community, probably provided by you or from someone in that circle. Okay. So, and yes, it is entering Gemini together, which I think is very amazing, especially if you some people, I'm not sure how this works, but some people will tell you Uranus and Venus are twin flames. Don't know about that, but if you do believe that, this is a very significant conjunction, because Venus and Uranus meeting can produce love at first sight just because of the unconventionality and the causal nature of the heart connection that kind of creates unexpected occurrences. And in this case, Leo, unexpected windfalls of income. Last but not least, we have Sagittarius. Yeah? Sagittarius. If we talk about, of course, this Venus-Uranus conjunction, this is going to be, of course, okay, the fulfillment and full-on integration of innovating your lifestyle and innovating your routine. I think this is really fun because now Jupiter has expanded the quality of how much more valuable your lifestyle is. And now when examining Sagittarius as a universal creator class entity, y'all are God level threats, okay? You live a very valuable quality lifestyle. But I want to show you the distinction of how Aries and Leo treat Taurus versus how Sagittarius treats Taurus, right? Aries with Taurus in the 2nd house manifests $1 million, right? Leo with Taurus in the 10th house of legacy has $1 million company. They have a profitable company that generates millions of dollars, right? So Aries is manifesting that $1 million bag. Leo is running a company that generates millions of dollars. However, Sag with Taurus in the 6th house is living the millionaire lifestyle. This is now the mutable magic nature of Sagittarius that can, in embodying chaos magic, can create a nature of value, right? This is whether through having billions of dollars, right? This Sagittarius has 2nd house Capricorn, so they guess money at the God level, but they don't need it. So like Aries can have the $1 million, but Sagittarius can live a millionaire lifestyle without millions of dollars in the bank. And that's high magic. Okay. And since 2008, Uranus has been innovating and automating how it is you live your life. So let me use an example that's very unconventional, right? And you can apply in your own way. Okay. I'm going to use this because it's both unconventional and taboo. So let's say that you had an OnlyFans, and you have been, of course, uploading quality pictures and content, right? And now when Uranus has gone through there, you've automated it. You already have the value. Now you have an agency that texts these people thinking that they're talking to you, but they're really just talking to AI, right? They take the value you've created through these pictures and video content and they recycle it, they use it, right? Now that Uranus is done out of your sixth house, it's fully automated. So you can set it and forget it. You know, you're going to do a photo shoot, you'll probably have a few pictures, you give it to that automation machine, and now your OnlyFans account is generating like $50,000 a month. And you have like hundreds of people in your inbox thinking they're actually talking to you, but they're not. They're probably talking to some dude who's like doing customer service, right? Unconventional, diabolical. I'm using OnlyFans as an example, but this can apply to anything. Your work schedule, right? This is going to free you up so much more time for when now Uranus and Venus go into your seventh house and begin to innovate your true partnerships with others. And why this is important is Jupiter has already expanded since last year what more you can communicate and accomplish with other people. And now that we have this new moon in your eighth house, this is the second stage harvest evolution cycle. It's going to prepare you for the South Node and Jupiter in your ninth house, while the South Node in Virgo is unlocking how you are analyzing you achieve success. So the South Node through the 10th house is really cool because that's one of the coolest things I think in astrology. And I really want to study this because I think it really does work. Every 20 years, the South Node will transit your 10th house. And that is an assurance of success. Like you're meant to succeed because you're meant to use that success to allocate into your home space and completely change how the success from your home, like let's say you're meant to gain $100,000, so you buy a new house with it, right? And it's one of the most surest signs of, okay, I know I'm going to succeed this year, even if it's not exactly how I want to. It is a part of what I'm meant to achieve, right? Especially relative to how you build it up from the North Node to that South Node. There is still an element of what you sow, you reap, right? That being said, the lineup for you moving forward is very eventful. And of course, you know, if we go back to 86, maybe 84, that was when Uranus was in Sagittarius. So if we say like from 84 all the way to 2025, Uranus has fully integrated from your first house to your sixth. And some of you were born after 84, like myself, right? When we were born in 1990 or the 90s, Uranus was in Capricorn. Regardless, as a Sagittarius rising, full on an innovative integration. As a Sagittarius moon, full on 150 degrees, getting ready to be 180 opposite your moon, or the sun, your Sagittarius sun, it's making that 150 degree to 180 degree angle to your sun of integration. And that's where Venus is smoothing and polishing how much more luxurious your lifestyle is, connected with technology. And it puts you in a position, of course, with the trying to the South Node or Mars to now apply this integration of your lifestyle towards how it is you take that quality and then reach and achieve your goals and success, the social experience and complete experience of what your vision was initially and how you made it real. Okay, now this entrance into Gemini will immediately trine your third house. And that's what's going to take this awakening facet of your attitude as Sagittarius with Pluto in the third is extremely awakening a supernatural alien language. It's claircognizance that aligns with your Sagittarian vision. Venus and Uranus is going to connect with this awakening of mindset so that you directly communicate that in the 7th, unconventionally AF, coming into the rest of this year. And then next year when it finishes retrograding and coming back in there. Now, the square with Saturn and Neptune in your 5th house and Jupiter in your 8th, or if you're a Sagittarius sun and moon, Saturn and Neptune are going to be making a 120 to 150 degree angle, and Jupiter is going to be making a 210 to 240 degree angle to your sun and moon. These squares are going to challenge who you trust with your creativity. Saturn is disciplining your creativity and inner child. I always like to use this as an example. Chris Witecki really helped me through this. Before Saturn went through my 5th house in Libra, I didn't really know what I loved. I didn't really know what I really wanted to do. I mean, of course, I didn't have my Saturn return yet, but Saturn going through the 5th single-handedly helped me lock in. I started shooting so much more music videos after that. I realized I'm going to take my craft more seriously, right? As far as music, as far as this, right? And Saturn disciplines your talents so that when you go into the 6th house, you can discipline your lifestyle and create a routine or work to get paid for your talents. Okay. So the square that the 5th house of creativity has to the 8th house of intimacy, the more that I trust you, the more that I'm willing to express my heart towards you, right? The less that I trust you, the less creative I'm going to feel around you. So the 8th house of boundaries is going to expand how much deeper and intimately you can engage with others. And this sets up a very unique romantic counterbalance, whether platonically or romantically. All right. Neptune is reimagining your creativity and transcending talent that you already have, but adding an entire world of creativity to it. So Saturn is going to constrict and influence who you trust, so you don't expand these boundaries out of control. But Jupiter is going to put Saturn in check, so you're not too serious about what you're creating. Okay. And other than that, as you go through this 8th house transit, it's definitely going to reveal much to do with during this Cancer season, the application of what Gemini season taught you. You should perceive or can perceive these current partnerships as, and what direction you begin to take them into. All right. Woo! That being said, y'all. Last thing I'm going to say is that with Mars going through your South Node, you're unlocking career success. So this is also going to discipline now how your creativity and mindset with that yod to Mars in the 10th influence how you achieve success. And now everything Mars is doing is you taking act. So let's say Virgo in your 10th is a project you have due in September. Mars is you already taking action to work on it and unlock how it is you're going to achieve this, so that when September comes along, you'll be aware of everything you ahead of time took action on. So there's a lot of success for everyone to be gained, but the nature of how you're going to gain success is going to critically analyze each and every detail and step necessary to achieve a lot of what you've had in motion for over a decade now. You guys stay blessed as always, of course. I'm going to resume tomorrow with, of course, the monthly Air Tribe report. If you click the description box below, you will see, of course, the application. If you have not joined my app, why haven't you? You can totally join for free. Let me give you a sneak peek. This is a bit of Astro 104, right? The planetary aspects. This is where we'll teach about opening trines in this section. will show you how an opening trine is 120 degrees, right? And what they entail. Okay. They come with reflection prompts. And that's just one section there. Okay. That being said, and Giselle, thank you very much. Thank you very much for the heads up. Esco, appreciate you, fam. You guys stay blessed as always. I will resume tomorrow. And until next time, peace.